What's up, guys? This is a story about a foot switch, Amplitube, and Ableton, and how they all came together and became best friends. Let's check it out. All right, now we have a session of Ableton up. So let's go ahead and configure this bad boy. So you're going to need to put the foot switch onto a MIDI channel because it is a MIDI device. So first, if you followed the instructions, you're going to go to options. Then you're going to change. I already have mine set up here. You're going to pick one of these down here. You're going to go to Mackie Control in the drop down. You need to find it. And then you're going to go, in my case, MIDI in to, MIDI out to for the input and output. You need to make sure that track and remote are checked, and you're off to the races. So now let's set it up. We'll set it up here. So it's on all ins, that's fine. All channels, that's fine. Now my MIDI device runs on channel 2. We want to go to in. So now we don't select the output yet because we need an instance of Amplitube. So let's put that on here on the audio track 3. So now we have Amplitube up. You can see obviously the foot switch isn't doing anything. So now we need to tell the foot switch where to go. So we will send it to audio 3. And you can see the Amplitube pops up here. So now we need to go to Amplitube. So mine is not working because it's on channel 2. Now it's working because that's how I have it set up. So my master channel on Amplitube is channel 2 because I have other devices and it doesn't, channel 2 doesn't conflict with them. So, all right, so sweet, that's working. Notice that I used over here a VST3 plugin. You know that it's a VST3 plugin because it has a small little number 3 here. The VS2 version is here above it. That's why there's 2 Amplitubes, 2 versions, VST2, VST3. So now something that I noticed, and I used Amplitube inside of Ableton this way for like a year before I finally stumbled across somewhere on the interwebs that it said that there's an issue with the VST3 Amplitube plugin when you're using this foot switch, or many foot switches actually. So okay, notice that we can do this. We could switch our preset sets. Okay, so it's not switching our presets. Look at that. Oh man. So we can't switch our presets. What about our programmed foot switch pedal board bank? Okay, that's working. You can see that the pedal board bank works. So my issue was exactly this. I could not for the life of me get the presets to switch. So I just set up my 1 or 2 presets and I just switch them by hand. And I just didn't worry about, basically this foot switch did this for me. Also the transport controls separately on a separate note will always be your transport controls when you're working with Ableton, meaning you just select that, see all the lights change. Now these they function exactly how they're supposed to. So plays, you can see it playing, counting the numbers down here. Stop stops, and so on. Record records. There you go. So ta-da, it's recording. So the way to fix this, so let me go back a bank here. Oh, so I need to go back to preset. Boop. So the way to fix this, so I'm going to go down to my preset bank. This is on the pedal board bank. Let's go back down to the preset bank, A1. It says preset. So because the presets don't function, the VST3 is kind of worthless to us in Ableton. It works great with the standalone version of Amplitube. Is fine with the standalone. That's fantastic. So, however, it's not going to work for us. So we need to kill this. So I just deleted that from down here. And let's go ahead and put the VST2 into that one. So that's loading. So notice that my MIDI 2 from where the pedal is, that went back to the default setting, no output, because we killed the session of Amplitube, that just automatically switched back. So now we need to go tell the MIDI device where to send the information to. We are sending the information to Audio 3 to Amplitube. So let's route that. So we're going to send it to Audio 3. And again, in my personal case, your one should work fine for you. You have all of the 16, channels, global channels to work with. Mine is 2. My personal one is 2. So now let's try the presets. All right, so you can see here, now our presets work just fine. We can go up to our pedal board bank, A2, and our foot switches are working just fine. Okay, so now another thing to note when you're working with Amplitube is that you can MIDI learn. Here, I'll make this bigger. Is that you can MIDI learn anything that you click on here. Like bypass is going to be on and off, for your wah pedal, bypass, right click, don't assign automation, assign MIDI. Bypass, you could see mine's already assigned here. So again, you would just, here, I'll just delete it. So now it doesn't, now it's not turning that on and off. So let's right click on there, assign MIDI, bypass, learn bypass, and then push that button. Okay, so something else with programming these is that you notice that these have boop, 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 boop. Some of them will have switches, like here's the switch, so you can click on that. Just click on anything that you think might work, and you can assign the MIDI to any button. So depending on what you want to do, you can assign it. Now, once you come over here to these effects, you can even assign, which is killer, the amps. Well, in this one you can't, but certain functions you can. Depends on the amp. So like this, I can assign to open the focus here, channel 1, channel 2 switch. So say you have a more basic setup, and you want it to do, run the amp, but you just use the cab and maybe one or two other filters or whatever. You can assign those things. You can even assign, these knobs to work with an expression pedal. I highly recommend these M Audio pedals. I mean, they work awesome. There's no reason to pay more money. Honestly, for what it is, there's no reason to pay more money than the $12 or whatever it was, 15, 20, whatever. I don't know, pretty cheap. Because they work killer. So in that instance, you could assign it here. Let's assign. So now it's running that. Now you can do things like that. The other thing, and this ties into this being still working. With certain ones, there's not going to be an on and off switch. If you notice, these switches you cannot MIDI assign. This one you can. However, what if you want your digital reverb to turn on and off? That's actually exactly what I have it assigned to, is my digital reverb, this pedal here. This pedal here is the digital delay right here. These other effects just stay on. You can have multiples ran by one switch, meaning you could have, say, these three, the EQ, the white, and the saturator here, all ran by one switch on and off. So there's lots of different ways to configure that, and I will show you up here. So you click on the settings, go in here to control up here. Now it shows you two different main settings. It's going to show you program change, which these are your presets. Something to note with the presets. So that's going to be our preset bank. Let's go back to A1. This is these right here. So if you're wondering how my first preset is something that I assigned, it's because it's right here. So you can right click here, and these are all of my different things. These are showing a lot of the favorites. I believe this is all my anything that you favorite, I think, goes right here, I believe. I also made my own folder. So as you can see, I have a lot of different presets. Since I also use Tonex, I also have Tonex Max. You can use Tonex with Amplitube just fine. Just something to note, when you're switching the Tonex presets, it's sometimes slow. So there's that. But otherwise, that's using it through Amplitube. So to change one of your presets, so these are preset switches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on bank A. This is where you would assign those 1 through 6. And again, I skip a bank because my bank 2 is a pedal board bank. So I need to go up to, in my case, A3. And again, these are presets, and that's going from 7 onwards. So this one is going to be my Bogner Uberschall head, and then the Engel Fireball preset, and so on, changing the presets. So now that's how your presets can be assigned. So you can make your own, and that's where you're going to change them. And that's via right click. So you can go onto any of your stuff, depending on what you have. Amplitube 5 Max collection, Amplitube collections, custom shop, legacy. They're all there. All your presets are here. And so you can assign whichever one you want to whichever slot you want. Now, for the other changes, the pedals, like the pedal board bank, turning your effects on and off. You're going to go to control change. That's under program change, control change, because we want to control it. So global will do exactly that. This list, your global MIDI CC numbers are right here. Now there's something to note that if you wanted to go back in your Nektar in the Pacer, the configuration tool, the web-based configuration tool, these are the presets for Amplitube. This is how Amplitube has these set up. You can pick different ones right here by click on it and scroll up, move your mouse up or down. Just move the mouse up, move the mouse down. My volume and my wah, that's where I control these. So that's why my volume pedal here, let me get out of this, go back over here. This is why my volume pedal still worked, even though we had assigned this knob. That's because I have my global channel or my global CC message on the Pacer. That's something very important to understand. On the Pacer, in the Pacer app, not this, as that global number. That's not something you have to do. I would recommend. Let's come back here to control change. So that's your global here. And so you can play with it and configure it however you want. These are the only things that it gives you, however. So when you're setting up a pedal board or a pedal board preset, it's best to go into each and every preset that you have and assign them, and then make sure you, once you get it saved to which switches you want, you need to save each thing for that preset. It's not a global universal thing unless you were to make it that way, which is by doing the global controls. Go to control change, then under global, which is what it's already at. But you'll see that there's not very many things here, which is why I have it set up the other way, which is via preset, not global, but preset. So that's what these two different things are for. Global versus preset. So since we're changing a preset, we come here. Now these are all of the things that are assigned to this preset right here, Nix Metal main metal. These are what I have assigned. Now let's go to a different preset and see what that, and it shows our CC messages that we had programmed into the foot switch from earlier. Let's go to a different one and see what that looks like. Go back to control change, and then preset again. So it looks different. If it shows nothing, it's because nothing is assigned. So, okay, for this, let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's remove all these. Okay, we'll hit OK. Now let me make sure that I'm on the correct bank here this time. So A2, this is the foot switch bank. So now nothing is working on the pedal board bank. None of these are turning on and off because we just deleted their assigned where they were assigned to. So now we need to relearn them. So we can relearn them here, like I showed you, or let's go back up here. Control change, preset again, and you have an add button. In the add button, depending on what preset, what effects you have, it will show accordingly. So under Stomp, this is where these are. The Satch Wah, the Warminator, the Metal Distortion, the EQ, the rack effects on the other side. These rack effects, this is where you're going to assign these to turn on and off. Because you can't right-click. I'm right-clicking my mouse. It's not doing anything. So the only way to assign those is to come back into here, control change, preset, add. Now we can go to Rack Master, find the digital reverb, and we're going to go to bypass. Now it's not assigned. We just put this parameter in here. Notice it says parameters. So it's not assigned. We don't have it assigned to anything. So we need to learn. Pushing learn here is the same thing as right-clicking on the pedals, on the graphic of the pedal. So we're going to learn this. So which pedal do we have? Okay, this one here. All right, so this pedal here. Hit OK. Now, so that's how we assign that. Now you may run into this other issue that when the pedal is on, that your color is off here, like so it's dim, for example. So there's the dim, which is off. So that's correct. That's how I like to have it. When it's on, the light is on. So a quick way to fix that is come back in here. Control change, preset. These here, min and max. What you'll do is put this one the opposite. I'll show you. 100. Let's take this one down to 0. Not NA, 0. Oh, come on. And that's via mouse click. I'm just clicking on the mouse and you drag up or down. Hit OK. So now watch when I... So now it's off, but the light's on the switch here. So when the pedal's on here, when it's on, the light's off. or dim, not off, but dim. So that's not how I want it, which is why it was set the other way. So let's just, for the sake of saking, go back into here, control change again, preset again, not global because we're dealing with a preset, not the overall global controls of Amplitube. There it is. So we will do the opposite. It was on 100. We're going to drag it down now. 0. Drag this all the way up. Hit OK. Now our switch, the light on the switch here, works accordingly to how I want it to. On is on, off is off, or dim. So that's how that works. Now, I mentioned saving or being able to switch multiple things. Again, we go back here. Depending on how you set stuff up, you'll go back here over and over. Control change, preset. So let's put on add a couple different things. Let's go to, we have the reverb here. Let's go ahead and put on the digital delay bypass. Bypass is on and off. So we'll put that on there. Let's add another thing. Let's do the chorus as well. So notice that there's different things here. These are the controls. These are the different controls that you could right click on the graphic, that you could right click on and change those controls that way or this way. Either way works, right clicking and learning it or changing it here. In this case, we're going to do bypass. So now what we do is we're not worried about the other stuff. We're not going to hit learn. We're going to simply change this CC number to match that other already learned switch. So let's change this. Grab and drag. Oh, come on. There we go. See, so now all of these are 36. So CC switch, which is this switch, now is going to operate all of those. Ta-da! Ta-da! So again, you can have it assign to multiple things. I mean, you could set up another amp here, and again, it depends on the amps. Some of them will let you do an automation there. Let me see if I can do an amp on and off with an amp, because you can come in here, go to preset, add stereo stomp, Stargate, amp. So here we got our amp controls, A, B, and C, because we have 3 amps down there. So these are what it'll allow us to do. It doesn't allow us to turn it on and off, unfortunately. Powerball, wow. So the Powerball has a ton, the Ingle Powerball has a ton of stuff that you can do. Wow, I did not know that. Cool. Master channel bright. I don't see on and off, but I believe that there's a couple of the amps over here that can do on and off. You'll just have to kind of play around and you know, make it your own. Just remember to save. So that's a rundown of how to use the best of both worlds. So to kind of recap, let me go to a different preset. I'm not going to save this preset because I don't want it. So let's go back to my main preset. So to recap, we have our preset bank, which is A1, does presets 1 through 6. We go up to bank A2. This is our pedal board bank. And this is going to switch on and off our various things. And again, you can assign it however you want to work whatever things. This is how I do it. In my case, my pedals are, just if you're wondering, I have in my main one the wah, the volume because I have 2 expression pedals. The third one is the distortion. I have distortion, and I have these color coded so I can just look down at a glance and see what it's supposed to control. That's the idea. So that's my distortion. I do not have the graphic EQ assigned. I do not have the compressor assigned. They stay on. They're just on all the time. Don't worry about these. And the next one is the chorus. I don't know if you know, if you're unaware, depending on where you put a chorus greatly affects how things like a chorus or a flanger, how they react. So whether you put it back here after your amps, you can also drag it over here in between the amp and cab, and that works like an effects send. If you had a real amp, the effects, when you see effects loop, that's how that would be, is if you were to put it here. Or if you wanted to have it up here, it greatly changes. There's certain things that will change dramatically the sound depending on where you place it. So I'm not sure if you're aware of that, if you've experimented just as a guitar player to another guitar player. That's how it works. So then my chorus, and then I have my digital reverb, and then my digital delay. Because these are, and then these, the shimmer is kind of, I just have to come and turn it on or off manually. I don't have it assigned. Sometimes it's fun to play with, make some cool noises. The EQ, again, another EQ is left on, and then the saturator is left on as well. Give it a little more, So that was the recap of how we, of what we did on this lovely journey together. I loved my time with you. Thank you. Thank you. It was wonderful. All right, so there's one more thing that I wanted to show you. Well, a couple more things, actually. So when you have a pedal track here, we have, as you can see here, I have a pedal on this one here. The pedal is assigned to it. These are various guitar parts. So I did not play the wah over any of these parts here. So a way that you can do that after the fact and go record just the wah movement, you can see the wah moving there, is you would come down here. I'll bring it down right over the riff that I want to record. So I want to record it over here. So I'm not going to arm my track already. Here, we'll go ahead and play it so you can hear what it sounds like. Okay, you get the idea. So to record the wah over it, you simply are going to have your pedal track selected and armed to record. So then when you hit record, this is going to be what is recorded, because it will still record the pedal information on here, and you can't see it. So let me show you. Let me demonstrate that here. I'm doing that just to prove a point here. Okay, so now you can see that information recorded here, but it's not going to show anything. So what you need to do is pull it up here. So it won't show here, but where it's going to show is in your envelopes. All right, so if here, instead of notes, because it's obviously displaying notes, we're going to go to envelopes, and it still doesn't show anything. So what you have to do is come down here to this control, and it's on pitch bend for whatever reason, and you need to find the volume. In this case, the volume is here. Ta-da! So now you can clearly see the pedal movement where it went a bit crazy here. So we can listen to it back again. Now I'm not touching the pedal. And a cool thing is that you can come in and adjust each and every one of these little nodes here can be adjusted. So you can add more in. So say that you didn't want to go this high, or maybe like here, for example, I didn't go all the way to the end. Maybe you want to go to the end, so you can bring these up. Here, let me zoom out here. So you could bring these up, for example, you know, and you can make it look nice. You could delete some of these nodes to make it look a little more tidy here. It's been a while since I've messed with this, but so just so you have an idea here of what you're dealing with. So another important thing, or something that you can do, is so this pedal information is saved. So this pedal is tied to this one. You can see here I have solo concept selected because that's the name of this track. Now I could turn around and control a different track. Say, what's the next one down? Solo right. So I could go down and I could lay a wah over solo right. However, with only having one pedal track here, it's going to record that information onto this. So it'll record over our previous one that was assigned to this one, because we wanted this wah to be with this track. Now we are attached to this one right here. So a way to get around that is you can simply add another pedal track. That's what I usually do on songs that'll have several wahs on several lead parts. I'll just have a pedal for each individual track, for every single one. Not for every single track, rhythm, only when I need the wah, because otherwise you can use the pedal track, one pedal track, as to kind of switch your effects, that sort of thing, if that's what you want to do. Because your effects are actually down, they're in Amplitube. So an Amplitube is on your audio track, like say, you know, your guitar audio track. So that's something important to note. It took me, through trial and error, I found out that one pedal track doesn't cut it when you're trying to do multiple tracks with a wah. You can use one pedal track to control, just so you have it. It's just you need to remember to switch this information if you want to use a different guitar track, if you want it to control a different guitar track. So you could just simply pick whatever guitar track, whatever you want to record, or use it to control, and it will control that. So just something else to note, that you can record wah after the fact, or volume or whatever, whamminator pedal. So that's a cool way to go in and just mess with the sounds. Just focus on messing with the sounds. You already recorded your guitar bit, and now you just want to focus on getting the wah exactly right, or getting a whammy pedal, you know, how you want it to do, or maybe play around with some other effects or something like that. Maybe assign a MIDI note to one of the knobs, so you're cranking on a knob. Eddie Van Halen used to do that live. He would get down on his hands and knees, or, you know, like on one knee, and start cranking knobs to get some of his crazy sounds right on his pedals, right on the stage. So that's something you could do after the fact, is go in and it will record that information, like you can see here. It recorded it, but it doesn't show anything. It's not going to show anything, but the information is there in the envelopes. And again, it's not going to show under notes. It's not going to show when you go to envelopes at first. You have to select the channel volume. As you can see, there's just tons and tons of stuff here to select. So find where it says volume and you will find it. If you see the track here, it's recorded. As long as this is hooked up correctly and you see it controlling the wall. All right, so that's the only thing I wanted to add. All right, cheers. So now if you have any questions, another thing to recap is let's come back here to we'll open the editor again, just so we could do a quick recap on what we did here. So again, you would read the pacer. Wow, it read all of our stuff. Magic. Just because I kind of want to show you how these are, how they're tied together. So let's go to our pedal board bank. And again, I'll put this in my sysx file in the description, or you can just copy here. Just, come to this video, pause, and see what I did. So again, the A, B, and C, which are these controls up here, don't mess with. These ones here need to be a CC MIDI message. With Amplitube, it doesn't matter which message it is. So you click on your, the stomp switch 1, boop, 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 right here. This is stomp switch 1. It is number 86. That's why when I push this switch, it says CC 86 right up here. And it says 127, which is this parameter. And it says 0, which is the next push. So what this is doing is exactly what it says here. It's CC message 86. And it's going from data 127 to data 0. And these, if you noticed, 127 and 0 is the same thing back here. When we come up to our preset, control change, preset, it's the same numbers. That's what's controlling here. So 0 to 127 is controlling these right here. So that's why if your light is a different color, not the color you want, you can change it here, or you can change it in the foot switch. I would recommend setting this how you want it to be and leaving it alone. And then do everything from Amplitube, because it's easier that way. You don't want to be switching back and forth. It'd be a lot more cumbersome, because here in Amplitube, you can just right click, boom, assign. Very great, wonderful. The only things to watch out for with this is that this message, if you have other controllers, isn't conflicting with something different. So that's why I have it MIDI channel 2. So my MIDI channel to run my Amplitube inside of Ableton is MIDI channel 2, which is why back here in here, let me kill this thing off of here. Which is why it had to be channel 2 right here. That's what determined that. So if you're wondering and you want to customize which channel your pedal is going to, that's your MIDI channel here. And that is my MIDI channel for every single thing on my pedal board. Everything is channel 2. So nothing. So I have a keyboard over here. So I don't remember what, I think this is channel 10 or something. So they don't conflict with each other. Otherwise, you'll end up with the same thing like when we when we programmed the volume knob or whatever knob it was on the amp, with it also working the wah pedal at the same time, the volume and the wah, you'll run into the same thing here. You'll go to play something and it will be playing two things. So that's why it's important to have different MIDI channels. Most likely you can start by using the default one. I used that forever and it was fine. It wasn't until I started getting other devices, and I also use a Stream Deck that also does MIDI messages via an app for that. It's awesome. I'll make a video on it because it's very helpful. It's really awesome to have with Ableton. So if you guys have any questions at all on this stuff, just drop a comment, shoot me a message, blah blah blah, like, subscribe, all of that jazz. So that was our deep dive into the Pacer pedal. All right guys, cheers.